Hi everyone. So I know that you've just watched the video about your journal entry and that you have to write about a day in the Ukraine. So I wanted just to give you guys some tips and some ideas so you didn't have to do too much research. You are welcome to use some of these ideas for your own writing, but if you would like to do some research and come up with your own ideas, there's a lot of cool things to see in the Ukraine. Maybe you've even been to the Ukraine or your parents have been to the Ukraine and they can help you and tell you some cool things to see, okay? So you only need to have 2 or 3 things. That's a level 1. If you want to have more, you can, but have at least 2 or 3 things that you're seeing in a day. So here are some examples of what I would see in a day in the Ukraine. Especially if travel wasn't an issue and I could just pop everywhere, like just, oh, I'm here, because Ukraine's a pretty big country. So the first thing I would do would be that I would go and see this castle, which I have no idea how to pronounce, but I really like castles and fortresses, and that's kind of a little secret about Miss K. You will often find me at a palace or a castle. I've been to castles in Germany and France, and obviously when I lived in London in the UK, I hung out at Buckingham Palace often. I even had tea with the Queen. True story. There is a picture of me and the Queen well, it's my friend and the Queen, but I was in the Queen's backyard at a tea party. Okay. And all over. So I love castles, and I would definitely go and check this castle out, and I would probably find like a suit of armor or something and try and maybe take the sword or wear the helmet just for fun, or maybe I would see the cannons blowing. So there are lots of things that you can talk about the castle, maybe what it looks like. You can see here it has like four turrets, I believe they're called. And yeah, so you can describe the castle, you can say what you did in the castle, maybe you ate a caramel apple or something totally random in the castle, or maybe you had a fight with a knight, maybe you saw a jousting event because that's cool and that's what they used to do in castles. So you can talk about your day at the castle, okay? Or you can visit a very famous animal reserve. It's actually considered one of the 7 natural wonders of the Ukraine because it has so many animals. It has zebras and camels and horses and buffalo. It even has kangaroos randomly, which I found when I was looking it up. So maybe you went to this animal reserve. And here it's pretty cool because the animals, they roam fairly free, okay? And sometimes you can even pet them. So there's pictures of people actually walking up to some of these animals and like petting them and feeding them, even though they're kind of wild, but not really wild. They're like half wild animals, I guess. So you could go and check out this cool animal reserve and see, I don't know, 100 antelope and like 17 million buffalo. That's probably not how many. I was exaggerating. There's probably not 17 million buffalo at this place. But I don't know. I've never been there. Maybe there are. Okay? Or you could go for a hike in the mountains. And obviously, I would go and I would see a bear. And I would see this beautiful family of bears, the mommy bear and the 3 baby bears, and I would hang out with them and we would have bear hugs and it would be lovely. Or I might also see some wolves and try and take one home with me because I like dogs, and wolves they're part of the dog family, okay? So they're like a dog. Or I could see I believe that's a lynx in the corner. Or I could just wander around, go swimming in this waterfall pond area, or I could pick some flowers, anything. Maybe I have a little snack, I take a nice picture, hang out with my bear friends, and then I decide, you know what, I'm tired of being so high up, and now I want to see animals in the zoo. Okay, so I can also visit Kyiv Zoo, and they have 368 different animals. Okay, I actually looked that up for you, And these are some of the animals that you can see. Oh, look, another bear. I love bears. All right. They also have giraffes, and those kids are feeding the giraffes. So kind of like you can do at the zoos here. They also have hippos and snakes, and they actually have a capuchin monkey, which is one of my favorite kinds of monkeys. Also, another interesting fact about Miss K, she likes monkeys too. She's not just partial to bears, okay? They even have elephants, another one of Miss K's favorites. So there's loads of animals at the zoo. So maybe at the zoo you have lunch, maybe you have a hamburger or a pizza or macaroni and cheese. I don't know. Tell me about your day at the zoo. That's another example that you could have. What animals did you see? Did you get to feed any animals? If you fed the giraffe, what was it like? What was their tongue color like? I'm pretty sure they're black. Was it a long tongue, a small tongue? Did it try and eat your hand? Did it try and eat your phone? Okay. Or maybe you want a nice relaxing day, so you go and you visit the Black Sea and you go to a beach there. Okay. Maybe you eat some ice cream. Maybe when you're swimming, the water is too cold, so you have to go back. Or maybe it's nice and warm and just perfect temperature for swimming. Or maybe the beach is too rocky and you need to wear water shoes. Or maybe it's beautiful sand. You tell me. Or you could visit Swallow's Nest, which is the little castle on the hill, which is right here. Maybe you got your ice cream from there, or maybe you took a boat trip. Okay, maybe you made the eggs, the Peasants Cake. Okay, what color and design were they? I know some of you did the bonus pages in the booklet and you talked about what the meanings were behind it. So maybe you want to talk more about that. Maybe you've done like cool stars all over your eggs. Maybe you did circles. Maybe you just did random lines. Tell me about it. What colors did you use? How did you make it? Who was with you? These are the kind of details that you can add into your journal entry. Was it super fun? Were you a little bit bored? Was this something maybe mom made you do, or maybe dad is really into like doing cool egg things, or maybe you just did it because your younger brother and sister were like, oh, I want an egg. Okay. Or maybe, like Miss K, you would eat pierogies all day because I love pierogies. They are delicious, especially with sour cream. Okay, so maybe you put sour cream with them or ketchup. Okay, did you like them? Did you not like them? Were they worth it? Were you like, no, I would not recommend these? Okay, even if you've never tried them before, just you're guessing, okay? So think if you would like them. Maybe you wouldn't. Maybe they're like a dumpling, okay? Or maybe you tried borscht, okay, which is the cabbage soup. Or maybe you tried chicken Kyiv, which is basically chicken with stuffed inside. It's actually very good. So is borscht. Even though it looks reddy, purpley, it is actually delicious. Trust me on that. Or maybe you ate daruni all day. Or maybe you remembered that when we made it in class you didn't really like daruni. You can write that too. Or I also found this really delicious looking berry dessert called kissel. And it's basically just a bunch of berries. It's a dessert. And you can actually drink it like a smoothie. Or you can eat it like a pudding. So maybe you tried one of those. Maybe you tried all four and that's all you did in the Ukraine was just eat. And those are 4 examples right there that you can tell me about in your journal. You can say, I went to the Ukraine and I ate these different foods, and then you can talk about all of the foods and tell me what your favorite was. And that's all you have to do for your journal. Okay? So now that you have some ideas, okay, here are the important things to remember. You only need to write about 2 or 3 things that you did in the Ukraine. That's it. Just 2 or 3. Anything above 3 is a bonus. Okay? So if you only want to write about 2 or 3 things, that is totally fine. If you can only think of 2 or 3 things that you want to do, cool. If you can actually do research and find some more, that is your bonus challenge, okay? You don't need pictures either. If you would like to put in some pictures, okay, that is fine. But otherwise, you can just write about it in your writing journals. That's all I'm looking for, okay? You to just writing about it, but make it as detailed as you can. So, the things you need to remember are the date, And remember, you can make up the date. It can be a date in the future. It can be a date in, well, no, it can't be a date in the future. Well, actually, no, it can. It can. You can just pretend that you're going in the future, that you've been in the future. Okay? So you would be like, oh, on this day I did this type thing. Okay? And that could be in the future or the past. I hope that makes sense. I think I've confused even myself. Then you need the title. I've given you a title called My Day in the Ukraine, but I'm hoping that you guys can come up with your own more exciting title. Okay? Then you need to have detailed writing. So my example of detailed writing would be, I ate the biggest chocolate ice cream cone of my life at the Black Sea. It was 3 scoops in a waffle cone and had sprinkles and chocolate sauce. That is a very detailed sentence. Okay, you could go on to add if you liked it, if you didn't, and then that would be your opinion. Okay, so for the last part that you need to remember is the opinions. Okay, seeing the bear in the mountains was my favorite part. I even got to pet it. Obviously, that would be my favorite part. If I got to pet a bear, that would be the best day of my life. Or give it a bear hug. That would also be pretty cool without getting eaten, obviously. But that would be an opinion. So, what was the favorite part of your trip? What was your favorite thing that you did? What was your least favorite thing? It doesn't have to be your favorite, it could be your least favorite too. What was something that you really liked? Maybe you hated the whole trip. That's fine too. But you just need to let me know, okay? So remember, you need the date, which can be a made up date, the title. You have to have detailed writing in your journal and an opinion. So even throughout, my favorite animal at the zoo was the elephant, or my favorite part of my trip was when I went hiking in the mountains. Okay? So remember, only 2 or 3 things from the Ukraine. That is the minimum amount, okay? So you need to have at least 2 or 3 things that you've done in the Ukraine. Anything above 3 is bonus and part of the bonus challenge. So if you would like to do more, you can. I'm not going to even have a stop. Okay, so you can keep going and write about everything there is to do in the Ukraine if you really want to. But remember, your writing about it needs to be detailed, and it's about a day that you had in the Ukraine. So you might have to make it up if you haven't been to the Ukraine, but just think about the things that you would like to do in the Ukraine, and maybe mom and dad can help you do some research if you don't want to use my ideas that I shared with you. Okay, I'm looking forward to seeing your journals. You have today and tomorrow and all weekend to work on them. But if you finish them tomorrow or today, then that's it. You're done for the weekend. They are due Sunday morning at 9 a.m. So you have lots of time to do the 1 page, or you can write 2 pages, however much you want to write for this. But remember, you need to have 2 or 3 things that you've done in the Ukraine. That's it. Okay? Good luck, and I am looking forward to seeing your journeys about your day in the Ukraine.